Carnivore diets gain popularity. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee and let's have a look at this article from the ABC discussing the carnivore diet. Now, it's something that we have tried ourselves. If you jump over here, you can see we did a video about our keto journey. I released it in January this year, and it just discusses our journey, our diet change from a standard Australian diet, probably quite a bad and unhealthy Australian diet, through a vegan fast, the Daniel fast, through to just cutting out sugar, and that's why Lutzig is on the screen here, to eventually keto, and then carnivore. At the moment, I'm more low carb, high fat, because frankly, I missed my cucumbers and sauerkraut. So they've crept back into my diet. But one good thing about going through this entire process has just been learning and taking a conscious effort about our food. Really understanding what we're eating, how much stuff is in it, and particularly the sugar. Sugar is just the worst bloody thing in the world. It is everywhere. It is hidden in everything. You need to avoid it whatever way you can. A few websites I'll draw your attention to. Low Carb Down Under. They've got fantastic video series, lectures. I'd even consider it CPD in some regards, with regards just to health issues, to medicine and to doctors. Here you go, how to predict type 2 diabetes. In a previous video, I spoke about how I measure my blood glucose level using one of these little monitors quite regularly. This, the ones that they stuffed up in the hotel. They reused one-person machines for everyone in their Melbourne lockdown. Fantastic competence there. But it's important to measure your blood glucose level to see if you're at risk of, or pre-diabetic. You don't even have to be fat to be that, guys. You can just be normal weight, or what appears to be normal, which is actually probably a little overweight, to identify that. And a book that I want to draw your attention to that Rachel loves, Real Food for Pregnancy. She learned so much about nutrition and where you can get your nutrients from food, so you're not popping all these pills, which often are not even the vitamins and minerals aren't in a bioavailable form. It's better to get it from natural sources, from natural food, and most of that, the best way to get it is from animal products. So, the vegans aren't going to like this stuff, and I understand why. One good thing about veganism, well, hopefully, is that they reduce their processed food, or at least probably the raw ones that consider what they're eating. But the problem is they're going to get so many nutrient deficiencies, and then they pop all these pills to make up for it. It kind of defeats the purpose. But then also the ones that just eat so much sugar, just sugar, and that's the secret terrible thing around the whole world. That's the bane of these standard diets. So let's have a look at this. Carnivore diets can tick boxes when it comes to nutrients, but that doesn't mean they're optimal. Look at that beautiful piece of steak right there. I might have that for breakfast right now. I think I got a blade defrosted in the fridge. As I've said before in many videos, we buy our beef in bulk. We go to the Rockley, meat markets there, and buy the beast. So, you may have seen celebrities endorsing meat-only diets, claiming it's cured them of chronic diseases, and of course helped them stay lean. Which is true, a lot of people have done that. A lot of lectures from Low Carb Down Under talk about all of the health benefits that doctors are getting from switching to low carb, some even to carnivore, and how they're treating their patients, how they're curing them. The ones I really like it where they're talking about how they're curing people of type 2 diabetes. And there's even arguments being put forward that Alzheimer's is type 3 diabetes, and that the plaque formation in the brain is a response and not the cause of it. So I'd highly recommend you just have a look at all of these the videos here if you're interested at all. So, to people who are tuned into health research and diets seem iffy. These diets seem iffy. Well, perhaps it does. They certainly go against the Australian dietary guidelines that prioritize fruit, vegetables, and grain foods and recommend limiting animal products to only a couple serves a day, which evolutionarily does not make any sense. But, there we have it. The problem is these guidelines are just, a lot of the guidelines is not actually based on science, on actual clinical studies. It's all epidemiological studies where if you look at just the method behind it, people are getting survey questions to tick boxes and remember months ago what they ate and then use that to draw these conclusions. It's insane. So for some people, eating meat or even any animal product is absolutely off the table for ethical or environmental reasons. Okay, ethical I can understand, but then again, I don't appreciate, because I think humans are more important than animals. Environmental, it's been proven to be a joke. If you lived completely vegan for a year, how much carbon benefit do you think that's going to have on the planet? I'll let you know. 5 coffees from 7-Eleven, the equivalent of $5 of carbon. So, but let's say you did choose to eat an all-meat diet. Would it be possible to get everything you need from it? And how new is this idea really? On paper, the carnivore diet looks okay-ish. Okay, that's not even a word. The carnivore diet takes the low carbohydrate approach of paleo, keto, or Atkins to a new level, cutting out everything but animal products. There are variations. Some people eat only beef, some eat a wider variety of meat, and whether cheese and butter are on the menu also varies between followers. I mean, I can't live without my cheese or butter. And eggs are really, really nutritious. There's stuff you can only get from eggs. But if we approach the question from strictly a health perspective, is it even possible to get all the nutrients your body needs from only animal products? Well, I can tell you now, yes, 100%. 100%. The answer is yes, or pretty close to it, says Veronica Chachi, a nutrition specialist from the University of Queensland. Now, here's the counter question. Is it possible to get all the nutrients you need from only plant-based products? Because it's not. People always supplement. They always supplement. And the bioavailability of the nutrients and the vitamins that exist in plants often isn't as readily usable as those that you can find in animal products. It's funny that, isn't it? And seriously, if you don't believe me, read Real Food for Pregnancy, guys. It's like a readable textbook, fully referenced. This stuff isn't made up. Don't believe the person that mulches up. I mean, there's some crazy nutters there that'll feed their babies like grass. It's crazy. That's a whole YouTube rabbit hole you don't want to go down, because it can get you very angry. So she puts versions of a coronavirus diet through dietary composition analysis software, and found that depending on the particular mix of animal foods, including pretty much all the necessary vitamins and minerals were accounted for. From purely a micronutrient point of view, we can't say people cannot meet their requirements, the doctor said, which is true. Ticking the boxes on nutrients is only part of the story. We know that fiber is important for digestive health and fosters digestive health-promoting bacteria, and fiber is notably absent from carnivore diets. Well, no, we don't. No, we don't. There's actually no clinical evidence to justify that claim. Try and find it. Try and find an actual lab study. There's a very good lecture about, and it's done by, who is it here? It's one of the ones here. It's an older one on low carb down under, where you don't actually need to eat any fiber at all. One issue with fiber is it's just bulking food. It has absolutely no benefit to you. You don't need it. It bulks up your stool. So if you're eating a lot of fiber, you need to have a lot of extra effort to go to the toilet. But if you're on a purely carnivore diet, it actually gets a lot easier. And I can speak on that from personal experience. And right now, with all of the sauerkraut I'm eating, it is making a noticeable difference. So experts are keen to know more about the science of why some people report feeling good on such diets after following them for a long time. But we don't know much about the long-term impacts of the diets. Scientists are calling for more research, which is fantastic. But, here we go. There are historical precedents. And it's not just the Inuit. It's the Maasai tribe, where you compare the height and strength of them. And we'll have a look here if I can get a image of it coming up on my video. In low carb down under, we have here the Inuit, the Bellevue Stephenson experiment, and I'll bring it up here. I suggest you watch my video if you're really that interested, because there have been, there we go, the Maasai of East Africa. I mean, the men are 6 inches taller and the female 3 inches taller than their neighbors, the farming neighbors. Living off animal products is, well, makes you into a better person, evolutionary speaking. The Inuit First Nation people from North America have a traditional diet made up almost exclusively of animal products. They are often held as evidence that a carnivore diet can be healthy. So what does the Inuit diet actually look like? Researchers in 2004 conducted... Well, see, this is the thing. This experiment here, this is the Bellevue Stephenson experiment. This is from 1928. He lived off the Inuit diet. He got it from meat, fish, poultry, brains, marrow, liver, and kidney. Nearly 100 years ago. So it's already been done. So, okay, fantastic. They've done research in 2004. So, conducted surveys in 18 indigenous communities in Canada where people follow the traditional diet or pretty close to it. They found members ate well over 1 kilogram a day of animal products and between 28 and 120 grams a day of plant food. The research shows it is possible to thrive on a very animal-heavy diet, says Claire Collins, a professor of nutrition and dietetics at the University of Newcastle. The Inuit people had a really low carbohydrate intake, a really low vegetable intake on their traditional diet, and they ate some stuff that we wouldn't eat. For example, they ate the organs of a lot of animals. They ate a heck lot of seafood, and they ate some of their meat raw, which is actually higher in vitamin C, she said. And there is the whole raw meat movement. There's a whole lot of people that just push for that. And these people will, eat everything raw. Eat their steak and beef raw. There's some people who jump off the vegan bandwagon and go straight to raw beef. I've tried it. I still prefer it cooked. With some of those nutrients, because they ate a lot of those foods, they could meet their requirements. But Inuit people aren't particularly long-lived. And while the facts, now or in the past, and while the facts that affect life expectancy are hard to tease out, especially when studying First Nation people during modern times, so it's kind of pointless to even make that case. Life expectancy is not high, and there are very high rates of some cancers. Well, there are a whole lot of other social issues going on there that I think we shouldn't even bother with. But whenever traditional diet you look at, there are less refined foods, Professor Collins says. And that's the big thing that people really don't want to look at. Exactly. That's the big issue here. That's the advantage of actually taking an interest and an effort in whatever diet you take. If you cut out the processed and refined stuff. The one thing I really think we need to change the marketing on are vegetable oils. I think they need to be called processed seed oil, because there's nothing natural about it. You can't get you can't get certain seeds, squeeze them together between pieces of timber and get oil out of it. You have to process it. So, as with many fad diets, proponents of the carnivore diet often hold it up as the ideal way to eat. And that's simply not true, the doctor says, because there is no one optimal diet. We humans are similar to each other, but we're not clones. We have genetic differences, and just like some humans can digest the lactose in milk and others can't, it could be there are other differences that some people thrive on a carnivorous diet. Doctors' research deals in part with the potential for personalized diet based on the individual's unique genetic makeup and even the makeup of their microbiome. We're not there yet, but she hopes to see it begin to happen in the future. Well, there is the whole movement of getting your genetics tested and then eating the traditional diets of your ancestors. There's Dr. Berry, who I follow on YouTube. He's got a Northern European genetic heritage, so he eats meat only, a lot of venison. I tried to get venison, the butcher couldn't get it for us. So there we go. That's why I'm justifying eating my sauerkraut and pork, because of my German heritage. What do you reckon, guys? So, we will be able to tailor diets and ideal ratios of the micronutrients that would fit with the optimal health of the individual. So I'm not too worried about the microbiome, because that can change. That can change in a couple of days with what you eat. It's not really that important, guys. And any idiot that tells you drinking something is going to put the microbes are going to survive the stomach acids in your stomach and get into your intestines. That means you've got leaky gut syndrome. That's a whole other issue. So, and while the evidence around the carnivore diet is sparse, she suspects it may be the case that for some individuals it works for their bodies, I think more than people realize. What I'm interested in knowing is these people in practice it, obviously they don't die after a year, they don't lose their hair, they didn't start to become completely crazy, they're functioning. Well, it's actually the opposite. Some people gain hair, some people skin conditions solve, some people lose a lot of weight and stay healthier. What do you all think, everyone? You know, Rachel says she's read this article and feels like someone is struggling to admit the fact that this carnivore diet may actually be legitimate. At the very least, people are taking an interest in their food, and if we can avoid the processed stuff, that can be one step in the right direction. I'd encourage you to take charge of your own health, take control of it, and know what you're eating. And I feel like, for some reason, going and eating a nice big steak right now. Now, while I was just editing this video, I just received this email about another advantage of the carnivore diet that I thought I should share with you all. It's to do with, male sperm counts. And this is for Carnivore Aurelius, someone I subscribe to, one of these Twitter people. And he's going on about masculinity is on decline, grip strength and testosterone are down significantly among young men. The future's not looking bright. This is the soyification of society. We're eliminating everything men and humans in general need to thrive. And the results are becoming very apparent. I mean, okay, soy society, karate, literally. So about the low T levels, low testosterone. One of the advantages of going on the carnivore diet or being carnivore is an increase in your sperm count. So we have a look here. So in this study, researchers reported that men who reportedly consumed organ meat had 53% higher total sperm count, 41% higher total sperm concentration, and 8% units higher progressive mortality after adjusted for potential co-founders. So there you go. And I mean, he's a beef liver aficionado. That's his whole thing, his whole point. But eating this diet from a man's perspective does increase your virility. I can attest to that personally, and Rachel can as well. So there is another benefit that you should all consider. What do you all think, guys? I mean, maybe there's a reason why we're having so many kids. So now I'll jump back to the outro, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to support the content I create here, there are a few ways you can. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or Kucoin. You can buy merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. I'll see you next time.